Hello there. My name is Yudi, and this is the Yudi Factor, a program that understands that knowledge is power. And therefore, week after week, we discuss issues and empower you with information to enable you make informed choices, especially when you factor in something you have heard on the Yudi Factor into your situation. And today we're going to be talking about etiquette. What is etiquette? Why is it so important? What are some of the things we do that we shouldn't do, or some of the things that we don't do that we should do? Today I have Yvonne Ebi, the Senior Consultant Etiquette Place, who will be discussing this issue and teaching us some etiquette, including myself. Don't go anywhere. This promises to be very interesting. We'll see you after this time out. Yes, you're welcome.
Thank
Yvonne,
you very much.
How are you?
I'm fine, doing good.
Yes. Thank you for coming to discuss this with
My
us.
pleasure.
What is etiquette?
Well, I'll start by answering from different dimensions. But
Okay.
the real reason why we bother with etiquette is because you want to have a premium brand. You have a personal brand. You want to protect, you want to defend it. And people are watching you and drawing conclusions based on what you exhibit. So it's important for you to understand how to act and how to behave at different
How to
times.
act or how to be you?
How to act in the sense, oh, come on,
Okay.
how to behave.
Okay.
How to behave, how to intentionally put your best foot forward at all times.
Okay.
So you're trying, you understand you have a personal brand, and because of that, you want to know how to dress, you want to know how to converse, you want to know how to shake hands in public, you want to know how to eat. And that's so important because the world could be your oyster and you use the wrong fork, you've lost it. You have to, so it's not just because you want to just know something, because you're a premium brand and you have a worth, you have a strong sense of self-worth. So you want to always put your best foot forward by ensuring that the behavioral patterns you exhibit and project align with your personality. That's the whole reason. So it's about knowing different ways to behave in different situations. And the basis of etiquette really is being considerate to other people. Deliberately, intentionally, always. So the reason why I don't pick my nose, for instance, in public, even though I really feel like doing so, because I feel something, some kind of sensation in my nose, but the reason why is because it might be offensive to someone who is watching. And I want to be considerate, that's the point. The reason why I don't scratch my whatever in public and scratch, and people do all sorts of things. I'm like, you're packing your stuff in public and people are watching you and drawing conclusions about you. And the truth is, Yudi, perception may not be the truth, but it is stronger than reality. So the whole idea behind etiquette is to ensure that you are empathetic about other people. So you're careful how you compose yourself, how you do things in public, and as a person, as a person in public, wherever you are, because you don't want to offend the other person. You don't want to rub off wrongly on the other person. So it's important. That's why we bother about etiquette. Some years ago, a king used to organize parties in his palace. He used to enjoy doing that.
Yes.
And guests would come and, they'll stomp on the grasses and spoil the flowers and cross the lawn. And he didn't like it. So he asked the gardener, what do we do? So they agreed to put signposts at different parts of the palace to ensure that guests understood what to do. Don't walk here, walk there. And this over time became to be known as what we call etiquette, the way of doing things.
Before we go into what the rights and wrongs are, what have you found out with Nigerians?
It's a very interesting mix.
Okay.
That's the reality. I think also from where we are coming from, because when I was growing up, it was important for you to be polite and to be courteous.
True.
And you didn't ask for things just anyhow. I remember going to places with my parents and they'll ask you, what do you want to have? You're like, Auntie, I'm fine. You're not fine. You actually want a cold drink of Fanta, but your mother's face, your father's face, you're like, you have to remember to be cautious, protect the brand, where you're coming from. You have a name, so. But today it's different. People ask you also, people make requests, children they don't bite their tongue when they're speaking. So there's a huge, huge need for etiquette in Nigeria. But we haven't always been like this. When I was younger, it was commonplace to keep trash in your pocket until you found a dustbin. You didn't just peel stuff on the road and throw cans and throw eggshells and banana peels. No, you didn't do that. So with the values eroding, there's a strong need for etiquette in Nigeria. But the misconception is, it's a white man's thing. It's a Western culture. I don't want to be like that. We want to be Africans. By the way, African doesn't mean that you're dirty and you're rude. Even the culture,
you're inconsiderate.
It doesn't mean that at all. The real African mentality, the real African thinking, Africans are considerate, Africans are cautious. We have it in the Yoruba language, echo this, echo that, echo stand, echo sit. There's so much that we greet a lot. We're very moderate people. So I think it's just a misconception. There is a huge need to return to the values of courtesy and manners. So there's a market here too. So it's very interesting. I currently have a class going on and people are showing such interest in improving themselves. They're putting their best foot forward. How do executives think? What is corporate courtesy? How do I eat in public? There's even table manners. Because somebody came, fretting. She had a meeting in Nikon and she didn't know what to do. So she said, arrays of forks, arrays of knives. And she said, you know what, I'll pass. And it was painful, but she just didn't know what to do. So like you said, being informed is so important. It's the biggest form of empowerment. So I really like what you're doing, and I really want to say kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now that we've talked about what you have seen with Nigerians, let's start with the basic etiquettes.
Right.
Basic being considerate, basic being nice to people, basic presenting that brand that people will say, oh, she's so well behaved. So what are the basic things we do when we meet people that we shouldn't do? Let's start from that.
Okay, so first and foremost, like you said, you must be thoughtful about people. Someone I know wrote a book, she said, don't eat the last donut. So we are 10 in a room, and there are 10 donuts, and you take 3 in the name of I'm very hungry. Because
as if you read my mind.
Because you're really starving, you haven't had anything to eat all day, so have the rest. So don't take the last donut, just take your own piece and hold yourself. It's called comportment. You hold it. It has to be a sign of maturity. It has to be intentional. It has to be deliberate. You just hold yourself. And then take the one that belongs and wait for others to have a turn, because you are considerate. You are empathetic. And it affects all walks of life. The way we use the bathroom is horrible.
Hold the thought. Hold the thought. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the UD Factor, a program that empowers you with information. Today, we're empowering you with information on etiquette. What is etiquette? Basically, your way of doing things and being considerate to others. That's what the expert has just told me, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you were talking about being able to take your share and consider other people.
Yes.
Because we're talking about the basic things that we
do on a daily basis.
Yes.
Well, the one that probably really infuriates me is the way people use the bathroom.
Okay.
And both genders are guilty of this one. I was on a flight once, and a lady used the bathroom. It was from Nigeria to somewhere else. So she came out of the bathroom. She did not flush the toilet. And I called her back. I said to her, "You can't do this." She's looking very ignorant, like I don't know where to flush from. Like, excuse me, it's just basic. Look at the symbols. It's completely impolite to let someone else see your mess. It's rude. You can't do that. So if you're a premium brand and you're all well dressed and everything is in the right place, you're wearing the best of designer brands and labels, and you can't use the bathroom properly, it brings you right down to a normal person, a normal brand. So if you have that brand mentality in mind, I'm a premium brand, it has to affect the way you project yourself. So the way you dress You have to just understand, it's called dress sense. You can't wear your pajamas to a party. I don't care how beautiful the pajamas is. You just can't wear it to a party. You must understand what will go for what occasion. So like she said, knowledge is power. It was yesterday, it would always be. Know how to dress. Know what is happening now. Know what time it is in the dressing. Now don't start wearing things like of the caveman, today and thinking, well, I want to be conservative, I'm modest, I'm simple. You're not, you're out of time, you are. So dress sense, how to use the bathroom, how to eat in public. You cannot afford to eat noisily. So you're chewing and then say, oh, you're eating, say, yeah, so, and you're bringing all the things that were left from past years, to the fore. You can't afford to do that. No matter how well dressed you are and how many arrays of degrees you have, you can't afford to do that. If you have a train and you're a first class brain, and you come in, dressed very funny, and you're dressed in flip-flops, and you're looking like very, untidy and unkempt, and then you're saying, well, you know what? It doesn't matter how I look. I'm a Harvard-trained person. It wouldn't count for you. So you just must understand how to put these things together. So manners come in very handy. How you comport yourself, how you walk, how you sit. Now, the Queen Mother was sitting in her balcony many years ago. And she sat down, putting her legs, astride. And in the morning, that was the headline. You can't say, no, that's not, excuse me, you're a premium brand. You're royalty. There's just the way people expect you to behave. And you've got to conform in many ways. So your brand is saying, you say, I'm a premium brand. And then you're giving out confusing signals. You're walking funny. I can see your ugly boxers in the name of sagging. You're walking as if you're just throwing your legs and your hands and you're chewing gum carelessly and you're picking your nose and your ear in public. It just reduces you. I don't care how much you have in your bank.
Somebody can say I'm just being myself.
Yourself has this problem. It has a problem. Yourself is not good enough. You can say I did my best, but your best wasn't good enough. You're being yourself. You're demoting yourself. So once you have that, because perception, like I said, may not be the truth, but it's stronger than reality. And these days, employers are looking for people who can be brand ambassadors. So yes, you have great degrees, but what about the brand, the behavior? They're looking at your Facebook pages, they're looking at your Twitter handle, they're looking at your Instagram. What kind of things do you post? What kind of comments do you make? These are very crucial issues. So you've got to be on top of your game. It has to be deliberate. You can't just say, well, I can't change myself. You can. And if you don't, you will lose out of the game of life. So it's very important to put these things in perspective. You're eating in public. Find out how to use your cutlery. Just find out. Don't hold it as if you want to kill the already killed lamb or something, and you're like, the poor egg it's not even alive. There's no chicken in it. So you can't be afraid and think I want to hammer this thing. It's just a meal. Honestly, so you must just know how to, and not eat in the way that you're eating, and then we can see all the masticated food in your mouth. You say, hey, so do you see how, wow, and then you carry the water, and you're, come on. Etiquette. You've got to be considerate. You really have to be.
Nigerians, they meet you, and some people just walk up to you, or they go to parties and they, like social butterflies, jump from table to table. And so on meeting someone or going to party, what are the basic etiquette? How should you behave?
So you understand the network aspect of it.
Okay.
You're in a sort of in a party of sorts. You probably were invited. Everybody else was invited there. And they expect you for you to respect their privacy and respect their space. You don't just match up to someone's space and come so close and just grab the person and give a cheek peck here. I just don't even know you. You start from somewhere. The handshaking thing is usually where you start, in social and business etiquette, a handshake. But most women don't realize that, you should initiate a handshake. And you don't shake the hands by grabbing the hands and, you shake from the shoulder blade until it wants to pluck out. It's a friendly, warm, brief, nice thing. It's a handshake, that's what it is. So you put your index, between your thumb and index finger, it's called a web. Just put it on the person's web, firm but not too hard, just firm. And 1, 2, maintain eye contact. Not too close, not 10 feet because you don't want to any whatever it is that is around. You just about 3 feet is good enough. And you shake hands and you smile, but you must maintain eye contact. It's rude to shake my hands and I'm looking at something else, whatever else it is. It's very rude. So you must know these things because people are there. They came from their homes to feel refreshed, to be entertained, to enjoy a season. So you've got to be able to remember that. You can't come up all feeling so blue and showing it. That's very unacceptable. You shake hands and you're like, so what do you do? So how do you do? So what's your name? And you just stay within that, the lines of decency. You don't go asking, oh, my name is, for example, my name is Ngozi. Nga, babe. Nga, my name is Ngozi. Just respect that. Hi, Ngozi, what do you do? And don't go with that and say, hey, so how old are you now? So, well, just your bank account. You just stay with the basics. That's being considerate of other people as well. Or someone is wearing a nice hair and you're like, don't go saying, is this your hair? And you put your fingers in
and
the
Nigerians
shore.
do that a lot.
A lot.
Nigerians do that.
Or what did you buy this? And they check the label for you. And they carry your leg and see a shoe. I'm like, come on.
Yes.
Respect the individual. So
or they look at your jewelry, hold it,
and ask you, is it real?
And I say, how much was this?
Exactly. Very rude things. How much? Where did you buy it? Show me where. Draw the place. Near Maryland. Where exactly? And like,
hold the thought. Hold that thought. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking today about etiquette. And I still have in the studio Yvonne Ebi, senior consultant, the Etiquette Place. And she's been empowering us with information on the basic etiquette on meeting people, parties, because Nigerians, we have a character that is solely Nigerians. And I think we should be able to learn some basic ways of doing things that will make us look or be considerate to the next person. Yvonne, yes, you were talking about...
Miles Monroe came to town some years ago with his wife.
Okay.
And they were at Golden Gate having a breakfast meeting.
Yeah.
After the meeting, someone walks up to her, executive, and says to her, what you're wearing, I have it too. I bought it last year, summer. And she's so embarrassed. Everyone just leaves her. She is an executive of a company. How could you do that? That is so unacceptable.
Or she didn't know who she was talking.
She knew.
Or maybe that was the reason.
You're making an excuse. No,
what I'm saying, maybe that was the reason, knowing that this person wore it, then that makes her important.
Even if so.
No, I'm not trying to make her.
I'm trying to understand. But I mean, even if it was true that's exactly what do you have to tell? What about the ones you tell someone, oh, nice one? Say, yes, a Gucci. I bought it last year. It was on sales. Very, very cheap.
In fact, like I was telling you off camera, I was with a lady, a friend of mine, and somebody walked up to her and said, this is your jewelry. Remove it from me. Let me just see. And the person said, you did feel it is heavy. I just walked away.
I am not a part of that.
No.
So we do that without realizing.
Very rude.
It's rude.
We're very rude.
It shows a lack of exposure. You just want to be able to mind your business.
Yes.
And so you see something that is not particularly what you think it should be. You just steal a glance. Oh, lovely hair. Not lovely hair. Is it really your hair? If you ask me that, I ask you, is yours missing? Exactly. Are you looking for your hair? Because this is supposed to be mine. And we have to be more cautious because the higher you go, the more they expect you to exhibit these traits.
That's true.
Someone was being interviewed for a UN job. He had passed the test. He was competent. He had passed several tests. He was good. They liked him. The last test was a lunch date. And there he blew it. What did he do? He put salt in the food before tasting it. That was just what he thought he knew. But what they thought he did was, they said amongst themselves, he will very likely draw conclusions without finding out all the facts. That may not have been his intention, sadly, but he lost the job because of that. So we can't say, you know what, I didn't know. Ignorance can never be a virtue, so stop flaunting it.
And then another thing with Nigerians, saying thank you and
absolutely.
Thank you and please.
It doesn't take away from you.
And I'm sorry.
And I apologize.
Yes.
And someone thinks you go, bless you, not sorry every time. And I'm sorry. And, just learn these basic courtesies. Thank you. I apologize. It's a magic word. Please, Please, and whether it's a junior person you're speaking with or a senior colleague, please is a magical word. Just use it.
Nigerians are too aggressive.
Yeah, well,
always wanting to argue with you.
Well, I understand where that is coming from. You're your own local government in several ways. You would have to agree with me on that. But we've taken it a bit too far. So you fight for everything, for your rights, for your labor rights, but you have to learn to just calm down. It shows a high sense of maturity and exposure. You come into a place in less than 30 seconds. We can tell from your composure how exposed you are. We can tell how far you've gone in school. Educational background, it's all imagined.
I don't agree with you.
It's all imagined.
Educational background does not even, people can have all this degree and not be able to comport themselves.
Well, they had the degree should have had them. The degree should have had them the other way around. So, unknown to you, you are the one to give us all the ingredients to judge you, but people are constantly judging you. Honestly, every moment. You are the ones who empower that perception, but they're constantly, and some of them will affect your career destination. It will.
And even
they look at you and absolutely, they think, I think she can manage that. You're thinking, why? You don't want her. No, but I just saw the way she composed herself, the way she reacted. Someone upset you, and you refuse to just, go back and idiot, stupid. Oh, you just calm down. It happened to me one day. I went to give a talk on etiquette. And I opened the door and I got in, and I didn't close the door back. And the guy was furious. He didn't even know who I was. He unleashed, it was a bank holding a seminar. And when I finished, I just shut the door back and went back to sit, waiting for my turn to speak. After I spoke, giving their responses, one guy said, this is the only thing I have picked today. How could you have been so comported, so composed? He was so rude. I took that home. So it wasn't by what I said. It was a non-verbal communication, managing your impression. So important. Because you can have all the degrees, honestly you can, and all the money and all the cars, but people don't prize you highly because of the way you comport yourself. It's important. You can't keep saying, I didn't know. I came from the backside of time. Well, you're here. You can learn it. You can learn it. That's the beautiful thing. You can learn how to speak. You can learn how to walk. You can learn how to, don't sit down and spread your legs and show us your very unsightly underwear.
Hold the thought. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, you're welcome back if you're just joining us. We're still talking etiquette, and I hope that you've learned 1, 2, 3, 4 things. You're welcome. So,
other things are like, you're in public and you're cracking your knuckles and you're thinking, maybe you're nervous. Those things are just not proper. Or you're doing your ear, and people are watching you. Or you pick your nose and you bring it out and look at it and continue, and I'm like, or you're chewing gum with such, die. Come on. Very unsightly. Or you want to pick one, one stubborn tendon that has refused to. You don't pick your teeth in public. It's just rude.
You know what Nigerians do? They pick
cover,
and then they cover
it's
it.
Worse. It's even worse. Listen, the whole thing about personal branding and about etiquette, it's a painful process. That's the reality of it. But the gains are immeasurable. Honestly, I've watched it work. It works. A particular man was going on a lift. It was an elderly woman there. We have a culture of, showing older men respect. So he got to the 5th floor and he was late for his appointment. So he was kind of like in a hurry. And it was an elderly woman in the lift. So he said to her, "Madam, please, after you." And she's like, "Oh no, she's not used to such courtesies. She's not used to it anymore." She's like, "Oh no. She's like, "Oh, madam, please, it's a matter of policy. Please, I'll go after you first. After you." And she goes out. And guess what? She's the one making decisions for the pitch he's going for. So yes, he qualifies on competencies. He's good. But beyond that, she appreciates the fact that he has professional behavioral patterns. He gets the job. So we all think that the job is about competence, you know, I've got to be good. We have
and the degrees.
We got degrees, we love school, we love titles, we love certificates, you know, we just love those. But beyond those, the soft skills of courtesy and manners and politeness and appreciation and communication. You've got to learn to speak correctly. You can't keep blaming your school or your parents or your village. No, you've got to learn. It's not third mainland bridge. It's third. It's not revised backward. There's no such gear. You reverse. You just reverse. Just be curious and desire to know. And desire also to not to make anybody's day really bad or blue, because you want to be a part of what's happening. You want to be empathetic. So you care to know. If she's wearing a weave you like, just say, oh, lovely hair. Don't go, lovely hair, is it your hair? You know, or lovely shoes, lovely shoes, where did you buy it? Or lovely shoes, let me see if it will fit me. What size do you, all those, you're invading people's space. And that's not correct. So when you get all these things as part of your daily, you know, your daily projection, your daily habit, your daily lifestyle, it makes living very interesting. In the office space, for example, you want to borrow someone's pen. Don't just grab it. And then she gets angry and says, how much is the pencil? Come on. It might be an open plan office, but you just must respect the people's space. Someone tells you, I don't work with a lot of noise, and you're playing your music so loud, and you're thinking, you know, you're blaring your horn, you're blaring. People get offended, and that's not correct. So you want to ensure that you're putting out the right behavioral patterns at all times with your neighbors. You know, I don't blame you for having very noisy generators because of power curtain surge and all that. But just people who are living around you also want to enjoy the rent they have paid and enjoy the environment. Don't litter. It's rude. You wind down your very expensive cars, your expensive SUVs and jeeps, and you throw away cheap cans. It's unacceptable. A guy just spat out of the window. I said to him, I think I was doing school runs, and he just wound down and spat. So I was on his case. I said, you can't do that. He was telling me, what do I do? I said, he couldn't, because we're not very close to each other. Yeah. I bought out my box of tissue. I said, put it inside it. He laughed. I said, it's on your yourself. I said, that's not the issue, because you can spit and you can go, you know, it's just not right, you know. So all of these things, if you're intentional about it, you will give out better projections on a daily basis. And you make living more enjoyable. That's the whole plan of life, you know. So you have to be part of you. It has to be intentional. You go to the bathroom and you do a good job. Don't go to the bathroom and you mess the entire place up.
Or use the pee, which most men do. Sprinkle pee on the toilet seats. I know. And then walk away.
And then, you know, some women do some really hard, they come and they climb, and I'm like, you know, somebody came in for summer from the US, and she got to Enugu airport and started crying because she had seen this lump of stuff, and she was so frustrated. She started crying, a child. You know, we have to be careful about it.
Last word, last sentence.
Yes.
Last sentence. The last sentence.
Put your best foot forward. It will earn you respect and opportunities.
Thank you very much, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call you. I hope when I extend an invitation, you'll come and tell us specifics on some of the maybe dining etiquette.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Wonderful meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Now, viewers, I thank you for your time. It's been wonderful talking about etiquette, because we Nigerians are a brand on our own, by ourselves. So the sooner we start learning these things, because Nigeria is an international community, and you're going to meet people on a daily basis. You might be selling groundnut today, but you don't know tomorrow. Absolutely. So the basic things you should learn that will help you on your way forward. Thank you for your time. My name is Yudi. This is the Yudi Factor. Factor this into your life. Believe me, it will open up space for you to do more business. Until I come your way another time. Goodbye.